What it is, y'all, we're back with more Damashi, and today we actually have Familia Rush. Literally just earlier this morning went live in the game. So, what do you need to know about this? Let's just cover everything right now. Now, as you guys know, Familia Rush, unlike Royale, is the raid boss event where basically your whole Familia is targeting one of three different bosses. As each boss falls, a new boss arrives, and they get a little bit harder. Now, honestly, I haven't had a Familia Rush boss in a long time that's been, like, a challenge, so we call it. They're usually pretty easy, like, defense, from a defensive standpoint. So really, you can focus all of your efforts on offense. At least, unless this one's changed, but I don't foresee that being the case. So, we have Card Soldiers times 5. Phantasma Killer is effective. Fire magic attacks are also effective. Enemy skills increases wind damage attack. Once again, though, I don't think that's going to be really all that big of a deal. Worst case scenario, use some like wind coats on your defensive side if you're taking damage, but most likely, unless you're using like 3 stars without any hero, without any hero ascension, which I don't think you can hero ascend 3 stars, whatever whatever. Been so long since I've used 3 stars, honestly. Unless you're using like some really old 3 stars, you're not going to have any problems. Foes, decrease strength and magic. So this is the big kind of like hurdle here. You have to get past that decrease of strength and magic. You need to either wait for that to expire to do the vast majority of your damage, or get rid of those debuffs. So let's see what it says down here. Okay, fire magic attacks against all targets are effective. Another attacker like White Queen Reveria that can keep damage consistent even when suffering from strength and magic debuffs is recommended. Remember, as she's debuffed, she gets stronger. You want to primarily focus on all targets. AoE really will be the skill here. Foes, plural. But counterattacks and single target attacks are still an important source of damage. Don't forget that. Counters do help a lot. So if you are so heavily buffed that you're not taking any damage at all, you're doing it wrong. You need to take like at least double-digit damage. Honestly, double-digit damage is like the safe zone. Because if you're taking whole zeros, you're not countering. So you do need to have a little damage on each unit. For that reason, Mad Hatter Hermes can make an effective ally with his ability to buff both single and all targets. So Hermes and Reveria are the two big ones that they're focusing on here. Obviously, Phantasma Killer. Physical resistance is up 30%. Magic resistance is down 30%. Fire is down 20%. And everything else is neutral. Now, the honest answer here is, if you have Phantasma Killers that are magic in any of these other elements, and you could build one of those, not a bad call in this one. It's not the end of the world. Obviously, magic fire will be better. Physical is something you want to avoid at all costs, but if it's all you've got, you're not going to get the best numbers, but you'll at least be doing something for your Familia. Now, enemy number 1, when all 5 enemies are defeated, enemy number 2 will drop. Okay? Enemy number 2 is Bandersnatch times 3. Phantasma Killer is effective. Once again, water physical attacks are effective, and foes remove status buffs. So, all your status buffs will get removed at some point in this process. So you need to keep an eye. I always talk about how we keep icons on. You want to keep an eye on your icons and make sure that you know when those debuffs happen. We had several events recently where this has been the case. Usually they remove around, you only have 7 turns to do as much damage as possible. So usually around turn 4 or 5, they'll remove all your buffs. And at that point, you just rebuff or do a big SA that then, does all the buffs and everything that you need. Physical is down 40, magic is neutral. Fire is up 30, and water is down 60. So the honest answer here is you got to use water attacks. Phantasma Killer would be a big bonus, but you got to use water attacks, and you really need to use physical attacks. If you use magic, you're just reducing so much damage. Everything else is pretty much neutral, but with the exception of fire, obviously. But water, physical, and then Phantasma Killer if you can muster it. Okay? Water physical attacks are effective, as I just said. Lost Girl Eyes and Knight of Clubs Raoul are good choices here thanks to their Phantasma Killer ability. And water physical attacks that can hit all targets, because there's 3 of them. You do want to go AoE here. The enemy can remove your party's buffs, so you need to be careful at the time you use essays that give large status buffs. Keep an eye on your status and try to reapply buffs. Blah, blah, blah. We already talked about that. So like I said, essays that give big physical buffs, big elemental buffs, and whatever, those are going to be huge assets here. I see a situation here in which the Lazar unit that does a physical buff would probably be an absolutely enormous asset, if even maybe like the Haruhime units and all that. Though I would honestly prefer to use Lazar in this situation, only because with that physical buff and the amount of damage he does from his physical attack is going to be way better than what Haruhime is going to do. So I haven't built my team for this obviously yet, because we haven't even gotten there yet, but that's just my personal prediction. So that Earth Lazar that I like so much is probably going to be a huge asset here. All right, enemy number 3. Single target, Jabberwock ×1. Phantasma Killer's effective, Thunder physical attacks are effective. Basically, use your Wrecker Buster team from last time, you should be fine. Self increases strength, so you want to remove strength buffs at all possible. Decreases physical resistance, so the whole point is he tries to hurt you. Now, as said before, and I'll say it again, I've never found these foes to be terribly scary. I don't think I've ever had a situation in which my health has been in major threat here. But if you're using low rank units, you do want to keep an eye on that. Self removes debuffs, so any debuffs applied will be removed as well, so you will need to reapply debuffs at some point. Physical resistance is down 40, thunder resistance is down 60, everything else is neutral. So really, if you've got a good Phantasma Killer team that's physical and not thunder, could probably do that. It's not going to be top-notch numbers, but it will help your team out a lot. Thunder units obviously will be the best, but I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm not enamored with the Thunder team. I think the Thunder team really still needs a bit of work. They're all right, but I don't think they're really where I kind of want them to be. There's not enough units, in my opinion, that are that plentiful that really make it a reliable team that everybody can build. However, Physical and Phantasma Killer, and the fact that every other element is neutral, means that while you're not going to get top marks in this, you're definitely not going to be reaching, like, you know, you're not going to be the top dog in your Familia. It will still be helpful in your Familia if you have Physical Phantasma Killers from another element that you've buffed a lot. So if you've got like a really killer Physical Water team or really killer Physical Fire team or something like that, and they're full of Phantasma Killers, you will probably do pretty well. Though, once again, depends upon your Familia and how, you know, how what they're expecting out of you. If you've got the team to build Thunder, go for it. I personally don't, so therefore I'm probably going to build something else. My Thunder team's kind of eh. But also play around, guys. Remember, there is a practice mode here. What do they call it? I forget what it's called. Mock Battle. So you could use Mock Battle, and you could try different teams out and see what team's producing the most. You might find that your Thunder team's the best with +3s and +4s, whereas your fully maximum broken fire team isn't pulling isn't pulling their weight. However, you know, a Thunder team full of, like, obviously 3 stars and, you know, level 60s versus a maximum broken like fire team, obviously the Thunder team's going to start falling apart. So really use the mock battle to the best of your ability. The other thing to mention here, guys, you get 4 fights a day. You really need to be running events, and you will have bonus time every day. You need to check with your Familia, check out what time your bonus times are. Run events during those bonus times, and you will reamass basically attempts at this over and over and over again. It happens really, really fast. You get four tries, and you unlock 2 of those tries instantly just by booting up the game, and 2 more tries by running events. So make sure you do all 4 runs every day. Help your Familia out. That's pretty much it, guys. Let me know what else I missed in the comment section down below. I'm sure I did. But for now, like, comment, share, and I'll catch you all in the next one.